If you are a NEET aspirant, you might be thinking, can I double my NEET score to 600 plus or 630 plus? So today's video is going to be how you can actually double your NEET examination score. If you have returned your NEET examination by 2022 and if you think that you got a very less score, then if you're planning to pursue or continue your NEET preparation for the upcoming NEET 2023, I'm going to talk about most important top 10 tips that's definitely going to change your life. So how to double your NEET exam score. So first let's talk about understanding the fundamentals. The most important thing is you already know about the subject, the pattern, the syllabus, what type of question comes, or you might be knowing in physics, chemistry and biology how many questions you're going to have, how many sections you're going to have, everything you know it. But main important thing is understanding the fundamentals, like knowing about the negative marking, very important one, because most of the students I found they actually get low score just because of attempting wrong questions. So that's the major problem that all the NEET aspirant actually does. So negative marking, you should always keep it up in mind when you start solving questions in physics, or when you start solving questions in chemistry, or when you start solving questions in botany or zoology. And you should definitely know the pattern of examination, how the examination is going to be, what's the duration, how many questions comes from physics, 90, and chemistry 90 questions, and for biology you will have 90 questions, so it will be 45 plus 45 for botany and for zoology. And you need to know the pattern, what type of questions comes in physics, chemistry and biology. And definitely you should know these are all going to be MCQ based type of question. There's no other question, no descriptive, everything. So understand the fundamentals about the NEET examination if you wanted to double your score. Sometimes I'll give you an example. If you know your syllabus very specifically in biology, if you know the sequence of the syllabus or the unit or chapters, you can literally guess the questions, which chapter or which syllabus, and accordingly you can answer the questions also. So this is applicable for biology. So understand the fundamentals, so it's very easy for you to double your score. Next one is understanding the syllabus. As I already mentioned, very specifically for biology, if the question is asked based on osmotic potentials, so you should remember that it comes from transport in plant, and what type of questions or what type of writings are present in your NCERT book, so you can remember that and you can start solving question. So understand the syllabus very specifically. Here I'm going to highlight on to some of the points over here. When you are understanding the syllabus, what is understanding syllabus? I'm going to tell you, yes, you know the syllabus is in your hand, but what you have to do with the syllabus, marks which subject to go first. So first understand what subject you're going to take first, whether you're going to go for physics, whether you're going to go for chemistry, or whether you're going to go for biology. You should know this one. Mainly, if anybody wanted to study physics, chemistry and biology every day, then it is fine enough. You can spend 2 hours for physics, 2 hours for chemistry, 2 hours for biology. If some students will prefer some of the subject over the other subject, but understand NEET is going to be a rejection game, so it is always good enough that you don't miss any of the subjects. Even if you do not want to take up one of the subject, start studying at least some important chapters or important units, but do not miss the complete subject, because NEET will definitely, if you're going to solve all the questions from physics, chemistry and biology, nobody can stop you from attaining your 600 plus marks. So mark the units and chapters to go first. Okay, let's suppose takes that you would like to go in for physics first, or chemistry first, or biology first. Somebody is taking biology first. So in that you should know which units that you have to study first. In that unit, which chapter to go and study first. Do I have to go for the most easiest one, or the difficult one, or the most scoring ones? I would suggest take up units and chapters which are very highly scoring in nature, which means you need to know the pattern of examination. When you're going to understand itself, you should know which unit has heavier weightages, which unit has least weightages. So accordingly, now start studying the units and the chapters that are important for physics, chemistry and for biology. And you can also do one thing, study correlated units. You can study cell the unit of life, cell division together, and then you can actually go in for the next units. You can study plant physiology together, transport in plants together, and you can study sexual reproduction in flowering plant and plant kingdom together. So take up units that are very, very easy for you to understand and correlate also. Highlight important topics from spare units. Yes, you might have some of the spare units also, but it's most important that you highlight onto the important topics. It's suppose if you're finding like some of the topics are like not very, very important, or you're finding it very difficult to go in for that unit, but it is not necessary you have to omit the unit. You need to learn at least what type of question comes maximum in that unit, study at least those things. So highlight important topics from some of the spare units, and always emphasize on the important chapters. Never ever miss important chapters, even if you feel that's going to be a difficult chapter. Suppose let me talk in case of biology, human physiology, plant physiology are most important ones. So you should not miss human physiology if you want to become a doctor, definitely. So when you're going in for physics also, understand the most important chapters and most important units, and for chemistry also. Do not think it's going to be difficult and leave those important chapters. So emphasize always on important chapters and important units. Do not ever miss it. Study any units and chapters completely. This I'm going to highlight. Because if you're studying, example, you're going to take chemistry, you're going to study any of the organic reaction, study the complete organic reactions thoroughly without leaving even one reaction. And if you're going to study inorganic chemistry, study the complete inorganic chemistry from your NCERT book. If you're going to study biology, if you're going to study photosynthesis, or if you're going to study respiration, study each and every point from it. Do not ever miss, which means you should become a master in every unit, in every chapter which you're taking. So don't study half, because half knowledge is not helpful. So study everything completely. Study any units or any chapters completely, wholly, not half the way through. So this is the most important thing to double your NEET score. Avoid very difficult topics which are less important. This I'm telling it very much, because you can omit topics which are least important, which you find it very difficult to study. You can leave topics, but it should be of less importance. Suppose if that's the topic which is going to give you maximum mark, even if you find it difficult, study those topics. Just try to understand those topics. So you can avoid difficult topics with less importance. Then you can definitely go for this. Study important topics. Don't study everything from all the books. It's not necessary. You don't have to study biology, means you have to study from living world till the last ecology part you have to study. It's not necessary like that. You can omit units. There are certain units which are least important, where you can just leave the units and just solve only previous year question papers. So don't study everything, every unit, every chapter, every topic from all the different references book that you're going to do. So first, give importance to the important topic. Certain topics or certain units and chapters you can actually miss out. Reconsider difficult topics. That's important. This I told you, if any topic is important, even though it is difficult, reconsider studying it back again. This is very important, because I found a lot of students, since they feel it's difficult topic, they used to miss the topic, but heavy weightages will be there in those topics. Okay, let's talk about the fourth point, cite best resources. Yes, so you should not randomly take any kind of notes and you can start preparing for it. It is not going to be worthy enough. So instant notes is very important, your revision notes. So make small notes, stick notes, everything. Make a personalized note when you're studying. When you're learning, you make your own notes, and you can use mind maps, and NCERT is must for any subject, whether it comes to physics, chemistry or biology. Very specifically for chemistry and for biology. For physics, you definitely have to go for reference books. Use easy standard reference book. Easy books has to be there, and it should be a standard book. So we have a special video on what are the books or the reference book that you have to follow. You can look onto that and you will get to know about this one. Okay. Learn basic mathematics for physics. Yes, you need to know. You need to know calculus. You need to know trigonometry. So learn basic mathematics for physics before studying any concepts in physics. Very important. Don't rote memorize it. Just don't go and randomly study those things. Understand those things. And it's very important that you use shortcuts or tricks to solve any problems. And if you have a lot of formulas, make formula sheets exclusively for physics, chemistry, and we have limited amount of formulas for biology, so you can also make that. So learn basics mathematics for physics when it comes to very much into physics. Okay, the next important thing is most of the students struggle a lot with assertion and reason type of questions, whether it comes to physics, chemistry, or for biology. This is one of the problem. You might be well versed in concepts, you might be good in maths, but there's a problem which actually tricks here is assertion and reason. Sometimes we know things correctly, but we do not know whether the reason is the correct answer for this one or not. So assertion and reason is like a hook which makes you to feel whether it's correct or not. So solve AR type of questions, very important. For that you have to follow MTG fingertips and previous year AIMS question papers are very, very good enough for your assertion and reason type of MCQs for all the subjects. But you have to look for genuine answer keys. You don't have to randomly look, this is the answer key. Just 2 or 3 times check in for the answer key, whether this is the perfect answer key or not, or else you'll end up, because even if you make mistake in one question, if you're going to have the same question in your examination, you're going to lose mark. So make sure you're checking for the answer key perfectly fine enough. This is an important thing. AR type of question shouldn't be missed at all. Even though if you know the concept, if you're going to miss AR type of questions, it's going to be not very enough. Over quantity is very important. It's not important how many questions you're going to write. It's very important how many correct answer you're going to give for physics, chemistry, and for biology. So always give preference to quality over than attempting too many questions. Accuracy is equally important as time management. So if you tend to write your examination for 3 hours, don't be in a hurry and complete all the questions and say I've completed all the questions. It's not important. How much ever time you manage your time also, it's very important that you accurately answer the question and you mark it perfectly in your OMR sheets. Sometimes you miss the second answer, you write it in your third option also. So do not ever make those kind of mistakes. So always give importance to quality over your quantity type of questions. Next one is time management. Of course, time management is very important when you are in examination or in the phase of revision also. Revise what's already studied. When it comes to revision, study whatever you have studied already and avoid very new topics at the last moment and not much time on one section or one subject. When you're going in for examination, I tend to see a lot of students solving physics question alone for a long time, or chemistry question. In biology, they would take even more than 1 hour. If you're going to take more than 1 hour for biology, you're going to end up with not attempting many questions in physics and chemistry. So allot accordingly that you're going to spend very limited number of time for each of the sections. So you can make like 50 minutes for biology, and you can spend almost 50 minutes for physics and 50 minutes for chemistry. If you have many time or a little more extra time, then you can use this time to check your answers back again. So always have a time slot for each of the section. Do not give too much importance to one section when you are in the examination. And this is the main reason some of the students actually lost their mark during their NEET examination. The next one is go for PYQ. Very important. Definitely practice previous year question paper. I'm going to give you a hint also. Mandatory. Very important. Whether it comes to physics, chemistry, or biology, it's not important you're understanding the concept. Previous year questions are definitely mandatory. It will give you a hint what type of question comes. That's the most important thing. Solve questions from each subject, every subject, whether it comes to physics or biology or for chemistry, solve all the questions. And each unit, solve each units that you find it very, very important, and each chapters that are very, very important, each topic which are very, very important. And you need to follow 10 to 15 year question paper trend. You need to follow 15, and don't only stick on to NEET question paper. You can also solve questions from AIMS, JIPMER, and state-wise medical entrance questions also you can go for. And when you are solving questions, look for question distribution. How many questions comes from? You don't have to randomly follow a teacher who is going to tell you this many questions comes from. You can also do an analysis. So look for question distribution when you're going to practice previous year question paper. Suppose if you studied one unit, just get to know how many questions has been asked in this one. So understand it. And suppose if you're solving physics and chemistry question paper, you might be seeing some of the formulas that has to be applied in specific questions. So what you can do is take those formulas and make a tabulation, because if you're going to have those formulas, the same formulas can be used for many questions in most of the NEET examinations. So this is one of the trick. Take some of the question paper. What are the formulas that you have applied in each of the question when it comes to physics and chemistry, and write it in a tabulation. So you might expect the similar type of questions in the next forthcoming examination also. Always make a formula chart that you take it from the previous year question paper for physics and chemistry. This is very, very important. Okay, now let's talk about the 10th point, which is practice mock tests. Yes, definitely mock test. So you can solve mock test papers online with strict time. I've written time is very important. You can even solve a question paper even for 24/7, but it's really important that you're going to solve it within 3 hours and practice example questions and practice sample papers. Take it in the form of a neat paper and start solving this one. So this is all about the top 10 tips, and this is how you can double your NEET exam score. I believe that this video is really a great help for who are watching out this video. So thank you all of you for your time. I'm going to meet you back again with another video. Thank you all of you.